Yeah. I wish sleep came that easy to me.
Are you sleeping too?
I'm alright.
It's that sort of talk.
It wouldn't matter if I started speaking though, you'd still fall asleep. It's not the silence that is.
The talking when you go to sleep.
I was going to say,
It's like
if I say anything, he's more likely to drop off just a bit quicker.
it's like white noise for a baby, isn't it? Like the babble.
It's nice to be able to
The drone.
sleep at.
The drone.
That's what I said.
Yeah,
What? Are you saying that's what I sound like?
No, the wind. I was on
Oh! I thought you meant me.
No, when you talk, I find you very engaging.
Yeah.
So, but I find the wind really quite peaceful.
Yeah, it's nice.
So.
Sit this on.
No, problem. Sir.
So the illusion is the knowing that you know what you know. That's the illusion. And that illusion is the same as knowing yourself. So it's me and knowing are one and the same. And you can't know this. And by when I say this, I mean everything that you think is possibly knowable. So everything you think you know, that's an illusion. Everything you think you could possibly know, That's an illusion. Everything that's happened, that's an illusion. Everything that you think could happen, that's an illusion. Everything you think you could know in the future, or you could get to have as knowledge and to be mine, that's an illusion. The only thing that's not an illusion is this, but this is equally unknowable.
So what is happening right now is not an illusion?
No. But whatever you say about it is.
The story, you mean, around it?
Just speaking about it, language. And that's the only way we can communicate, and the only way we communicate with ourselves is through that. I could say there's another type of knowing without words, which if I use the word knowing, that's what I'm referring to. And intuition is probably the best word we have for that kind of knowing. So I don't know how I know that, but I know that. And what do you know about it? Oh, I don't know. I don't know what I know about it. Do you know it? Oh yeah. Are you certain? Yeah, it has a certainty that language, thought, knowledge doesn't have. It doesn't have that kind of lack of doubt. Intuition is doubtless. The knowing that if I say, because I could say there's no possibility of knowing this at all, and then I could also say it's absolutely known. I think I said it yesterday, actually, now I said that. And that's totally paradoxical, but I'm talking about you. Whatever we say about this isn't true. That's in the illusion of duality, of subject and object. That's illusory. But there is something that absolutely knows this. And the knowing of this is itself. If we put words on what that it is and what knows it, then again we're in the illusion again. And so whatever words we use for that. So traditionally in non-duality it's called self, capital S, self. But I mean I would never say that, because you can't get much more confusion than calling no self, self with a capital S, which traditional advice does. And I had a great conversation with Yada about this, and it is the most hilarious thing, isn't it? So let's think of a word. What should we call this that can't be known, that is everything? Oh, I know. Let's call it what it's not, but put a capital S on the front, and then it will be what it's not. So no self, we'll call it capital S, big self, universal self, absolute self.
Which is intuition? Is the big self intuition?
No. As big self as I understand it, I don't know. I've not studied it. I wouldn't say I'm a.
Is that the gut feeling? It's not that.
No, I think if we turn big self would be consciousness or God or Brahman in traditional Advaita. And it's the unknowable that this is.
It's another word for it.
Yeah, self. But I mean, I just think I don't use that, but that's what traditionally what it was called. But I mean, I can't think of a worse word really, or more confusing. So no self is self. Yeah. But what I wanted to say is that what we're talking about is absolutely known, because it's all there is. So there isn't anything outside. There's nothing more than. Or less.
So you could say obvious.
Absolutely too obvious
Yeah.
to be seen.
Or
It
known.
could. Yeah, it can't. Certainly, it can't be it can't be known in the way that we would usually use the word knowledge, because knowledge is that I would know something else, and we're saying that. So what we're talking about is both the knower, the known, and the knowing. The seer, the seen, and the seeing, and not. There's no separation between any of those. There's no inside here, seeing outside there. That's naturally how this is, and the illusion is that this is the whole illusion. The whole illusion is there's me sitting here, and there's I am, and there's all of you sitting there, and I know you, and I also know me. That's the whole illusion. Because without that, if that collapses, then there is just this, which there only ever is. But whilst the illusion is such a convincing set up, once me is set up as I can know stuff. I've learned. As soon as a toddler starts to learn language, then they're separate. Because they're saying, what the language says is, I know the bed. And the bed is that far from me. It's all in relation, so everything then is relative. And the relative world is born. There is no relative world. Only in the relative, in relation to objects. And we've created all the objects. That's what we do as human beings. Now there is another paradox in that if in what you'd call in natural reality, I could call without feeling centered and separate, then you can still, amazingly, the brain can still work objectively. That can work in exactly the same way. But it's really obvious that it's an illusion. That's not actually how it is. Because there aren't separate objects. You could say experientially, this is always just completely whole. And then what we do is dissect experience we just chop it up.
But the chopping up continues because the brain does that.
It's interesting. That's a really hard one to talk about. Because it can do it, but it just does it. It's really hard to describe how. Because that doesn't stop, or the ability is just exactly the same. Because you'd think maybe there's a different way of seeing, but it's not like that.
So knowing in a way continues.
It's known not to be real.
Yeah. Duality continues. Language obviously does it as well.
Yeah.
I guess what is not there is the belief this is really how it is. Or not even a belief, but an experience, this is how it is.
It's funny, it's more this is how it is. But without it doesn't need any language for that.
So what I mean is that an individual will think that the dual thing, this and that, is how it is.
Yeah, it's really how it is.
It's really how it is.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. But it's interesting because this is really how it is still, but it's also not how it is.
Yeah, which is why your answer to, so this is not an illusion. No, of course not.
No.
And nobody's saying that. Well, some people might be saying that.
Yeah.
Well, he might be saying that in a minute.
He might well be saying it, but no, he won't be, I don't think.
Yeah, I could, kind of. Well, it is. Whatever you make of this is the illusion. This isn't the illusion, but you won't know that.
Yeah.
There's no knowing that this is illusion or not. It is just as it is. How is that? I don't know. It's just as it is. Is it real? I don't know is the answer. Yes. No. And it doesn't matter. That's the big deal. And for me it would matter a lot. That's what we're talking about. So I always want to know what's real and what's unreal. What's true, what's untrue. I so want to know the truth. That's Tim wanted to desperately know the truth. Really, as a child, I hate, if I saw deceit or or I thought it was fakery, or I was on it always. I wanted to know. So what is true? What's really real? Okay, you're telling me that's real. Well, show me how. Show me evidence. Me wants something to back up its knowledge of reality. And science. So I like science because science seemed to be able to tell me what was real and what wasn't. But that was just another story. It didn't really tell me.
And I suppose talking about this is the nearest you get to truth.
Yeah, you could say that, but whatever you say about it,
Yeah.
the trouble, you could say it that way. But these words are no more true than,
Any other.
the wind blowing.
Seems like any ideology is just
Yeah, and I'm not.
invalid.
It's not. Yeah, ideologies certainly they all become equally valid and invalid because they're just ideas. That's what they are. And ideas are just an idea someone's had, and then you've persuaded other people to adhere to your idea and think it's a good idea. Just ideas. This couldn't care less about your ideas. This is completely ambivalent, completely neutral to all theology, all ideology, all morality.
But nobody's saying it does care. Nobody's claiming that this
No,
cares about your ideas.
absolutely not. All I'm saying is this is all there is, and so the only thing that cares is you.
Mm.
That's what I'm saying. Whereas people think there is a morality,
Yeah, yeah.
an inherent goodness or inherent rightness.
Yeah.
There is there is innate right and wrong. There's good and evil. And it's just a nonsense story that we've made up. What there is what happens. So there is all the sensations, there is thoughts, and there's feelings. And after that, and there's language, and there's seeming relationships.
There's even seeming knowledge.
And there's knowledge. Absolutely, there is, of course. There is knowledge, yeah. I'm just saying it's not real knowledge. Because it's all relative.
Mm.
By definition, knowledge is relative, isn't it?
Well, it always.
Because you look at science, science is the root of knowledge. You say, particularly in house, we'd say that's what we hold as the paradigm of reality. Is science tells us what's real and what's unreal, and the parameters of reality. And all scientists worth their salt will just tell you, well, that's as good as we've got so far.
Mm.
But we're only waiting to disprove that and say that was nonsense. This is how it really is.
Mm.
And that seems as though that will just continue indefinitely, because science is just about disproving the current best theory of what's true, what's real. And it seemed for most human beings that not knowing is terrifying. That's why this message is so unpopular. Always has been. I can't see it not, becoming more popular, because as a self, knowledge suggests security, suggests if I know that, I'm in a better place to keep myself safe. And that is all you are interested in. Now you could say you're interested in the planet and you're interested in other people. That is all because that will make you feel better. It's total self-interest. It's just the nature of self. Now self is self-interested, that's it. Self-absorbed, self-centered. And what we're talking about is that's not, although that is the most, seemingly, the most prevalent way human beings live, it's inherently unreal. It's delusional, really.
What is?
The
I got lost there.
The delusion is that I'm real. You are the delusion. I am is the illusion. It's the delusion's bad because it's the root of all madness. I'd say all selves are only a few steps away from madness. And when I say madness, I mean, the self-harm that me does to itself.
So then
That's why I
we're
feel
not
this
one
is.
step away,
I feel.
we're just always in madness.
You could say it's just madness, but what I mean is that actual. When you go to step, when you really loathe yourself, self really is just so dreadful to itself.
But because it's an illusion,
Yeah, it doesn't
it
feel.
actually doesn't matter.
Oh, none of this matters.
No, it don't matter.
It doesn't. None of it matters. But I don't know. This is just natural compassion. I would wish as many human beings as possible to have freedom from that, from themselves. That's what we're talking about.
Because it's a delusion.
Yeah, it's.
I mean, if it was real, then
No, I guess compassionately you would still wish that. Compassion isn't yours. You will say your compassion's, I'm compassionate. It's not true. You would say I'm generous. It's not true. You would say I'm selfish. It's not true. It's all completely natural. The illusion, the lie is that it's yours. Nothing's yours. Because there's no you to have anything. And me would never, cannot believe this, me will never believe this, that poverty, complete poverty, not only losing everything that you thought was yours, not even that you thought was yours, you were sure was yours, the possibility that you would ever gain anything is equally lost. So all hope and possibility for future stuff for me, that's lost as well. That is about the worst thing. It is the most terrible thing that me could ever hear. And yeah, I'm happy to say that it's the most wonderful. And I wish it for everybody. But I can't do anything about it, and it's not. And that's obvious. But I would.
Have you tried?
Tried.
Yeah.
I'm trying that.
Have you tried?
give him credit.
You could say this is my best effort.
Should try harder.
As incompetent as it might appear, this is my best effort. This is all I've got. Seems. Because otherwise. But this is. Yeah. What else can you do but speak?
Hugs, I don't know.
Oh yeah,
Energy.
I can do that. I can do that. Yeah.
Energy giving.
Yeah. But you've had everyone's had a lifetime, seemingly, in the story of their life. They had a lifetime of everyone telling them that they are absolutely real as a person. As who, and to try and help them know who they are. The thing your parents did most was tell you who you were. And you took on all of that shit. It's complete nonsense. It's nothing to do with who you are at all. But you took most of it. And then from friends, and then from teachers. And how you could improve yourself. Which is the biggest curse of all of being me, is self-improvement.
Why?
It's dreadful. Well, you're never good enough. So although self-improvement is wrapped up to be, really helpful, it's actually dreadful. It's endless, isn't it? There's no end to that. I can always improve. There's always more to do, isn't there?
Yeah, it's inherently painful.
It's dreadful.
Do you think it would be better if there was no self-improvement movement?
Absolutely.
But it does make people feel better in some cases.
No, I don't think it'd be better if there's no self-improvement, because while there's selves, they'll try and improve. That's the nature of self. Nature of me is I'm not good enough. It's the core of self is there's something inherently not right about me that I need to fix. I'm faulty in so many ways. And some people feel much more faulty than others. And that's the lie. They're not. They're just as they are.
So no self has ever improved itself.
Well, it has.
Has it?
In their story.